Hello and welcome to the Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is going to be a wonderful game because this is game 3 for ZOTAC number 277 in a best of 3 for the quarterfinals between CZE.Cechi, spawning in as the yellow undead in the upper right part of the map, which is Amazonia, as you can clearly see right there, and he will be going up against StFo.Spiral, spawning in as the red orc down in the lower left. Of course, Spiral is going to go ahead and go with a Blade Master opening, a pretty standard opening. It's what you would pretty much expect, and of course, we're going to see Cechi going here with a standard Fiend play. Now, I will go ahead and say, on Amazonia, there's a lot of options here. You can see the Blade Masters go ahead and say, let's creep for level 3. Or we might even say, let's do ahead and do some harass, because we generally are going to see undead players going ahead and playing a standard Fiend build on this map, because there's so much easy experience all over the map that you can actually get access to. And so it's generally a good creeping map. There's some really great item drops you can get, even for especially versus a Blade Master harass. For example, you can get a potion of regeneration, which can actually heal your Blade Master, or I'm sorry, your Death Knight up, or the Blade Master if the Blade Master gets it. But essentially, it's a healing salve and a clarity, both at about half effectiveness, slightly over for your Death Knight, which is good, you know, if you get super harassed early on, which makes it slightly a little bit risky for Spiral to go ahead and do that. So we're probably going to see him, going for the creep level 3. Sometimes, however, you'll also see an orc player say, screw it, I'm just going to creep level 2 and then harass, because you can do that on these sort of maps. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what he wants to do. But those are basically, I like how I kind of listed all the possibilities there, except like creep to level 5 or something, or do tier 1 expand, which I don't think we're going to see any of that. But yeah, as you can see, of course, at the Goblin Laboratory, he's going to go ahead and see Spiral getting a Circlet of Nobility from his very first creep kill. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and now run his Blade Master over here. Will he sell that TP? Yes, indeed, sells the TP, buys 2 healing salves, a Clarity Potion, and a Speed Scroll. We might actually be seeing some harass. And of course, over here we can see Cechi. He is going to go ahead and start to creep out his Goblin Laboratory as well. And of course, he's pulled those creep camps out into his base. It's faster to go ahead and creep that. And of course, he's going to pick up a Manual of Health for that Death Knight. That can definitely be a game-changing item, because you never know when your Death Knight's going to walk away with less than 50 life. You know, it could happen this game, and if it does, then you can think that right there, and it could be game-changing. Will it actually happen? It might not. But anyway, of course, we can see over here, here comes that Blade Master, and indeed, here is Spiral saying he wants to go ahead and get that harass. He wants to steal this rogue if he can, and that will give him level 2. And it looks like he's going to go for it. Oh, he's going to... Didn't get it. No, he did not. The Death Knight was able to pick that up with the coil, as you can see right there. And of course, we're just going to see Spiral now right-clicking on one of these fiends, saying, I'm going to go ahead and say, you don't have a Nerubian Tower, so I can walk right in your base, force you to pull out your ghouls, and that's going to be a bit of an issue for you. As you can see, of course, now Cechi saying, yeah, that's true, but I will actually have the upper hand in my base with or without a Nerubian Tower, because all you have is a level 1 Blade Master. You can't critical strike me, all you have is Wind Walks, and you're not going to want to burn all of your Wind Walks to try to kill a fiend, because you're obviously not going to get the fiend. Of course, now, one thing to consider is that Spiral is sitting here with 4 charges of healing salves, so he can tank on his Blade Master fairly a lot of damage, run back, heal up, and then come back in for the harass once again. Of course, Cechi gonna have some really good timing here. Just gonna say, also Spiral as well. You know, Cechi said he's probably going to creep something really quickly, so let me go ahead and pull out this green camp. However, of course, we can see that Spiral did not finish creeping this out. He simply crept the 1 creep and decided Cechi's probably creeping, so let me go ahead and try to do some more harass. And of course, as you can see, that Cechi right now just trying to minimize the amount of damage he takes here. That's very, very important in this type of harass. There is, of course, those 4 healing salves still on the Blade Master for Spiral, so it's going to be something that in the early game, the Orc player is going to be able to, if you end up trying to trade equally with him, he's going to very easily end up in a better situation than you. Of course, we're going to see a lot of dust being cast in the early game versus level of harass. It's something that you just got to buy those dust, you got to use them. And you got to use them wisely, because you want to be hitting that orc with them. You want to know where that Blade Master is. You want to know if he's creeping around, or if he's hanging around, or if, you know, because if he is, you know that he's probably creeping with his grunts, and you can probably see that right here. Indeed, he is. But also, it means that you can't really creep as freely as you want. And so basically, you can either go for a creep jack. We're actually going to see one of those grunts going down to creeps right there. And here comes the Death Knight. He will be able to pick up those items before that Blade Master gets over there. Of course, the Blade Master was able to pick up the experience, because the Blade Master's over there going ahead and buying boots of speed. Of course, also went ahead and used the healing salve. He's going to go ahead and do some damage to these fiends. And again, once again, you have to be very, very careful of taking too much damage on your fiends in the early game versus extremely aggressive orc play. Meanwhile, these grunts are going to be able to finish off that creep camp, and as soon as that Blade Master runs away, Cechi knows he's going to back off and says, it's time for me to go ahead and get some experience. I need level 2, I need my aura, and also I need to go ahead and keep getting experience. because of course you want to have a level 3 Blade Master for any sort of a mid-game engagement if you can have it. It's a very big deal. If you don't have it, it's kind of a huge pain. Of course, we're going to see him trying to scout with these skeletons, almost going to be able to get it here to reveal that the grunts are going to go ahead and try to creep this out. And of course, this grunt is going to have to do something. It can either attack one of its own grunts or walk away. At this point, it's going to have to attack its own grunt, as you can see, or at least issue the attack command. It doesn't have to actually complete it to cause the creeps to not aggro or to aggro off to a different target. Meanwhile, of course, we're going to see that Cechi is sitting here pulling out this orange camp, and that's another thing you're going to see versus the super aggressive orc plays, is you're going to keep pulling out these camps as far as you can. Of course, now we're going to see that Blade Master is at level 3. Cechi still only barely into level 2 at 290 experience. We're going to see that Blade Master will be able to get a little bit of stealing off for this experience as well. Meanwhile, is there a lich? There's a lich on his way out right now, which means that while Cechi, whenever Cechi doesn't have a second hero or a third hero in production, and he's tier 3 or tier 2 or tier 3, he actually goes ahead and gets additional experience, 15% bonus experience per level, or per tier. So at tier 2 you get 15% additional, and at tier 3 you get 30% additional. However, if you start to make a second hero, then you no longer gain that bonus. So it's only for solo heroes. So you can sometimes use that versus a super aggressive play to try to make up for the fact that you've lost a lot of creeps and try to, you know, creep out from one camp and get a lot more from it. But that isn't always feasible. Delaying your lich isn't always the best idea. You definitely really want to get that lich out as soon as you can. Of course, we're going to see that Slaughterhouse is up, the lich and the statue both about to come out, and of course tier 3 on the way for the undead player. Meanwhile, we have Spiral down here with the Shadow Hunter and these 3 grunts creeping out. Of course, it's going to see it did take a little bit on that Shadow Hunter. Of course, we have a Raider out as well, and down here we can see that Spiral is sitting at tier 2. And is he researching Ensnare? There's the Ensnare. Here comes the Spirit Walker as well, soon to be out of that lodge. Meanwhile, we're going to see, it looks like Cechi picking up a Tome of Strength from this creep camp right here that the grunts actually did not finish creeping out. And of course, over here, we're going to see that there's a Blade Master sitting here very, very close to this Lich. The Lich, I'm not sure what he was doing there, but it looks like he's just kind of wandering around. The Lich probably skilled Frost Armor first. Indeed, he did. As you can see, he's going to go ahead and cast that on the lowest HP Fiend that's right around here. And that's a couple of benefits. One, he knows that the Orc player is around. Of course, he has a Scout right here with this skeleton, and furthermore, he knows that there's a cooldown for the Frost Armor, and he needs to go ahead and get that on as many targets as possible so that he can actually go ahead and take this fight. And that's why you want to go ahead and cast that early on. I'm going to go ahead and dodge a Ensnare with that burrow. Wonderful play right there from Cechi, getting that nice micro off, and of course, with that Ensnare can force a fight, so you do not want to get ensnared on your fiends or any kind of unit like that. Generally, you'll see orcs going for the statues for 2 reasons, because early on, you can't dodge the Ensnare with a statue, and also because if you can kill the statue, it's a great kill. But with the Frost Armor already on the statue, you're not probably going to kill that statue unless you can go ahead and have a much better positioning than he had on it. And I'm not even sure the Raider was actually in range to go ahead and get that Ensnare on that Raider, on the statue. Meanwhile, down here you can see, of course, Spiral is going to continue creeping out with that Shadow Hunter, trying to get to level 3 on it if he can, and Cechi just trying to work on level 3 for that Death Knight, as well as level 2 on this Lich. Of course, at level 2 on the Lich, you get Frost Nova, which allows you to, you know, potentially pick off units more. We're going to see another wonderful dust coming in right on that Blade Master pretty much as soon as he shows up, really. And trying to not go ahead and get this Rock Golem too low. Of course, we're going to see that the Rock Golem will go down. However, the experience will go to Cechi, and the items are going to go to that Blade Master. As you can see, it's going to be a Scroll of the Beast. Here you can see a TP coming out from Cechi as a statue. It's going to get ensnared, not going to go down, but the Orc army for Spiral does run in right there. And of course, meanwhile, we can see down here that Spiral is on his way to tier 3. The Fortress Tank indeed on its way. Of course, that will give him an Orb of Lightning, which gives him basically a chance to purge when he attacks with his hero that has the Orb. Generally, that'll be the Blade Master, because it gives +5 damage, and of course, plus damage items work great on the Blade Master, as well as a Scroll of the Beast, which gives 25% bonus damage, which is a wonderful item for the Orc player. Of course, however, he is going to be going up against a tier 3 undead at this point, when there may be Destroyer Form research. And of course, Destroyer Form, if that's out, you don't want to pop a Scroll of the Beast during that point, because then the Destroyer can simply dispel and get a ton of mana, because a ton of mana and HP as well, because they get a little bit of HP and a little bit of mana for every debuff or buff that they eat when they eat magic, and they do that little dispel thing. And of course, we're actually going to see, it looks like Spiral trying to kill this statue right here. Destroyer Form on its way. However, it looks like it's not going to be quite quick enough to come out to save the statue, and here comes the wind walking from that Blade Master. Is going to walk right back towards the statue, and now he's running out, which is a little bit of an odd choice. Maybe he wants to pick up a Goblin Sapper. There it is. Indeed, the Goblin Sapper is going to run in here, tank with the Blade Master, let that Goblin Sapper come in here. He's going to go ahead and try to get that onto the Ziggurats. Here come the Acolyte Pool. Oh, the Sapper is going to go down before it's going to be able to blow up on the Ziggurat. Had that hit, it would have killed the Ziggurat, and that would have given enough an access way for the Blade Master to come in here and harass those Acolytes. Meanwhile, we're going to see the Blade Master now trying to get out of here. Of course, here comes Cechi once back again to his base, saying, I have to defend my base. And also he could use a couple of items. As you can see, a Rod of Necromancy now being picked up, and that will allow him to do a little bit of scouting. It's very good information to have. Of course, he also has a Wand of Illusion down here on this Death Knight that's going to scout as well, and that's going to be able to see that the Spiral player is going to go ahead and creep out his gold mine camp as well. And as you can see, of course, that is a level 3 Shadow Hunter. Over here, we can see that Blade Master, a little bit odd. Of course, he's going to get dust. The dust is actually going to miss. Of course, we saw that Death Knight down here at the bottom part of the screen with the Blade Master's up here behind the Lich. And that's when he cast dust from the Death Knight. And it didn't quite reach the Blade Master, but the Blade Master will back off anyway. Of course, the Blade Master is now tier 3. Will we see a tiny Great Halt? No, but we will see that Orb of Lightning being picked up. It's on the Shadow Hunter, going to be passed over to the Blade Master right there, as you can see. And here it is. Will he pop open on this illusion? He might just do so. That would be, of course, taking the bait. Looks like that's not going to happen. Of course, over here you can see Cechi bringing in the ghouls. Are those Frenzy ghouls? I can't quite tell. Probably not. They don't quite look it. But that's okay, because they will still help deal some damage to these raiders and these grunts, of course, as well as these troll headhunters. Looks like the Lich going to be put into a bad spot. Immediately Cechi going to identify the situation is not a winnable fight, and he will go ahead and TP out. Of course, that's going to give Spiral the remainder of this creep, which is going to be the level 5 Renegade Wizard right here, as you can see, and he will go ahead and take that down. Will he take it down with the Blade Master in range to pick up experience on both of his heroes? Looks like he's going to do just that. And you will get a nice item, most likely. Yes, indeed, a wonderful item. One of the better items he could have possibly gotten, a Scourge Bone Chimes. That's going to provide a aura with, I believe, 15% life steal. Indeed, it is to all of those melee units, including the Blade Master, which is an absolute scary amount. Of course, we're going to see him switching items around. Just going to go ahead and put that Scroll of the Beast on the Shadow Hunter and passing a Potion of Regeneration over to the Blade Master. Going to go ahead and pop that. Here we're going to see him not being able to get a lot of use from it, however, because he will get dusted as he runs right into that undead army and coiled and Nova down to about 394 life, down to 20 mana as well. He will go ahead and pick up a Scroll of Healing from that shop. Most likely the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability was still on cooldown right there, because that was actually picked up, I think, by the Lich right here, as you can see. Indeed, yes. Okay, so here you can see a Potion of Greater Healing going to be picked up by the Death Knight player, and here comes a fight. Destroyers are going to be morphed right now. Going to see him eating mana from the other statue. Going to go ahead and get a wonderful Impale off on these grunts. Here comes some more Spirit Links, which will feed those Destroyers right there, as you can see. And of course, we're going to see the Orc player right here right-clicking on these Fiends. Of course, this Kodabi is going to try to get in here. However, he is currently being blocked, and a wonderful Impale going to go ahead and go off on 90% of the Orc army right there. Of course, we're going to see those Raiders now going ahead and being forced to run away as well. We're going to see a Speed Scroll coming in from this Kodabi. Is going to try to come in here, and will that Kodabi go down? He will go down before he can actually devour a creep or a fiend, and there is the Destroyer Focus Fire. Right now, the Destroyer is unable to move because of the purge from that Orb of Lightning on the Blade Master, and one very nice Kodabi eating dodge coming in from there. We're going to see the Kodabi's going down, level 4 being picked up by the Death Knight, and in fact, we're going to see another Fiend going down. Of course, these Raiders are being deadly with their ensnares, being very, very difficult to keep any of these Fiends alive. Of course, we're going to see once again the Destroyer Focus Fire. Of course, we're going to see a coil going off onto that Destroyer, and maybe we'll see this Raider going down as well. Looks like it's going to be the Spirit Walker, and that's an ideal. You want to go ahead and kill that Spirit Walker if you can. That is the last Spirit Walker. If you're going to lose your Destroyer, you don't want him to have Spirit Link in the remainder of the fight. That's definitely a big issue for you. Of course, we're going to see that Lich now taking some Focus Fire. He is going to go ahead and get a Scroll of Town Portal past him, and he will go ahead and use that. And will that Raider go down as he tries? Yes, indeed, he's going to go ahead and kill the Raider as he TPs out of that fight, and there you have it. A wonderful micro coming in from both players. Absolutely. Of course, Cechi now sitting at 44 food. Of course, you know, he's been building as that fight went on. And of course, he's sitting under upkeep, so he's not doing too terribly bad. Item probably broke slightly into 60 food. As you can see, he does have 60 food supply as his cap. Probably broke into 60 food as soon as that fight began. Of course, we're going to see Spiral sitting at 39 out of 60 food. So Spiral not being able to remax quite as fast. However, he is remaxing with a slightly higher tier army, not using that barracks to go ahead and make any more units. Of course, the Trail Berserkers are technically, I would consider them a tier 3 unit, so, sort of similar to Frenzy Ghouls, but again, we can check to see if these are Frenzy Ghouls, if they're fast on both the move speed and the attack speed. That's how you can tell they're fast without Unholy Aura or Frenzy, and if since this is average, that tells you, hey, these are actually not Frenzy Ghouls. So that's one way to tell if you don't want to try to eyeball it, because sometimes it can be difficult with eyeballs. Of course, it's a little bit also hard if there's going to be a Death Knight around them, so, you know, so that's because obviously, you know, even level 1 Orb will bring their movement speed up to fast. So there you go. Of course, there's also a cutoff with the very fast, but I don't remember off the top of my head, so I won't poison you with wrong information. How's that sound? Should sound pretty good, I hope. Of course, we're gonna see that Blade Master. He's gonna run in here. He did take a little bit of hits from the Nerubian Tower. I guess he just then popped a Windwalk as he got in. Of course, we're gonna see a dust coming off from Cechi. Of course, you have to keep popping those dusts. It may seem wasteful, but if there's a chance that that Blade Master is around, you got to go ahead and use that dust. And essentially, if you can find him, you can catch him out of position. You can get an Impale off. You can get a Coil and a Nova, a bunch of Focus Fire. You might even be able to force him to pop a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, and that can be a huge benefit going forward into the next fight that you actually take. Or it can even cause the Orc player to actually back off and play very defensively if they don't have the kind of survivability items they want, and you know you have those high level heroes. Of course, as you can see, the longer the game goes, the higher level the heroes are for both players. As you can see, level 4 on that Death Knight, level 2 on that Cripploid, and level 3 on the Lich. We're going to see a Peon going down. That's basically a Scout Peon. And down here, of course, we're going to see level 4 on both of the Orcs players' heroes, the Blade Master as well as the Shadow Hunter. Of course, we're going to see a Dust of Appearance actually sitting on the Shadow Hunter, and that's because those fiends do have burrow research. And of course, whenever that's the case, if you can go ahead and burrow those fiends, you can actually keep them alive for quite some time. However, versus Dust, the Dust does reveal them, so it's not going to be quite as big of an advantage. Of course, here we're going to see another Peon scouting down here at this red. Of course, we saw a red Peon, a Scout Peon right here at this red camp, and pretty much, I think what happened was Cechi said there's probably one at both camps. Of course, we're going to see that Blade Master now breaking on a statue, but that's not really going to do too much. He did not get the Purge. Going to go ahead and brick on this one as well. Again, not getting the statue, or I'm sorry, the Purge. If you can get a Purge on one of those statues, you pop your Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, and you can pretty much kill it. Of course, we're going to see him getting the Purge on the Crypt Fiend. The Crypt Fiend's just going to burrow. There is not a Dust of Appearance on that Blade Master, and that's going to give a little bit of time. Of course, we're going to see Cechi coming over here, popping this Destroyers right on out, saying, I want to go ahead and do this fight. I want to take this fight. Of course, we can see that Cechi is sitting at 60 food, and Spiral sitting at 56 food. So, indeed, this fight's going to go down. Immediately going to see one of those Kodobeasts going to go ahead and get focused. Now we're going to see some of these Troll Berserkers sitting in the back, also getting some Focus Fire as well. And, indeed, we're going to see one of these Crypt Fiends. Again, it doesn't have a Frost Armor. Well, there's not really a whole lot of point versus the Orb of Lightning to be casting and spamming your Frost Armors. You will use it on your heroes because those are a high priority target, but your Fiends not quite so much when mana is more of an issue. And in this case, you can definitely see the mana is an issue. Of course, we're going to see these Kodobeasts trying to go down. The Kodobeasts do provide quite a bit of damage boost to the Blade Master as well as all of the Orc units, so you definitely want to be very careful of that. And of course, we're going to see one of these Raiders, it's going to go down, and this looks like Cechi's in a really good spot. It looks like he was actually capable of winning this fight, and it looks like, will he get this round on the Shadow Hunter? No, barely not going to be able to do that. The Shadow Hunter will weasel his way right on out of that. He's going to cast the Healing Wave, and it looks like, again, Cechi's got the better position here. As you can see, he's got a lot of skeletons building up. He's left one behind. That's not a huge deal. And it looks like he's going to be able to take down one more Kodobeast. The Blade Master sitting here at level 4. He's going to have to back off. He doesn't have enough mana for a Windwalk. About to get that, of course. He's going to go ahead and pop a Potion of Clarity. Why not? And the Shadow Hunter could probably use with a Potion of Mana. Yeah, there it is. So this is going to be a nice last-ditch effort for Spiral. Of course, we can see that if Spiral loses this fight, he's going to lose his base. That's not good for him. Of course, we're going to see him going and taking down a Fiend right off the bat. Of course, he's going to lose a Troll Berserker for his effort, and it's going to cost him a Clarity Potion as well as a Mana Potion, so it's definitely been expensive. Here comes level 3 on that Crypt Lord, and the Crypt Lord has been quite powerful so far in this game, getting some amazing impales off, and he does have enough mana for another impale, and these units are kind of forming a nice little line for him to go ahead and try to impale. Of course, we're going to see that Raider running in here. He's going to go ahead and take a lot of Focus Fire, and the level 5 Shadow Hunter, of course, he's going to get a Healing Wave off. It's going to be very nice. Of course, here comes some Focus Fire on that Lich. The Lich does have a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Going to run that Lich away from the Shadow Hunter. You don't want to get hexed, even though you do have those Destroyers. Of course, here comes a very nice impale, hitting the Shadow Hunter, of course, as well as two Troll Berserkers, and that will allow him to go ahead and take one of those Troll Berserkers down, as the Healing Wave just going to be slightly too late to kill, to save it. Raider going to go down as well, and now it looks like Cechi is starting to overwhelm his opponent, Spiral. Here comes an Abomination, another Healing Wave on that Blade Master, once again going for the shop. If you take out the shop, there's a lot less healing coming in for Spiral, and he looks like Spiral is going to say, shameful, good game. I'm not quite sure Spiral was the most mannered player during this matchup, this best of 3, but hey, there you go, Cechi winning, and of course, what a great best of 3. I hope you guys liked it, and also, I actually went to record this whole set a couple days, like 4 days ago, in fact, and I got interrupted, and then I got super busy with midterms, so I didn't get time to go ahead and finish those until today/last night. I don't know when I'm going to get these up. So there's that. So sorry about these being late, basically. I don't remember what I said in Game 1, but I was like, oh, they're going to all go up at the same time. And so I didn't upload Game 1 because it's only like not a very long game, so I'm not gonna say the exact length, but yeah, so that's game 3. If you missed game 2, just click right here, that'll take you there. And I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll start seeing more regular content as well. I should be getting my new computer tomorrow, which means well, basically I have to move on Saturday in the morning during ZOTAC, so I should maybe be able to catch the grid finals, the quarterfinals and on for ZOTAC maybe on Saturday. I might just be able to do that. I'm gonna try. If I can, I'll stream those because I'm supposed to be leaving here at 10 o'clock, which means I'll get back at 11 o'clock-ish, and if I can get set up by 12, then I'll be able to do that. And so hopefully we'll see. Of course, I'll put up an announcement on the channel if and when that happens. And also, because I should be able to stream in HD on that computer, I will be able to put all of the stream content onto YouTube. However, there is a 7-day delay, so, you know, that's the consolation, I guess. But yeah, there you go. And that's really all I have to say. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time.